Hello everyone, thank you for joining our School on Wheels career workshop today. My name is Natasha Bayes and I'm the team leader of volunteer engagement for School on Wheels. Today I have with me Janie Dam, who will be sharing resources you can use in your tutoring session regarding career preparation. Just a few notes before we begin the presentation. For the purpose of sound quality, all participants are muted. You have the ability to ask questions using the questions pane. Simply type in your questions and hit send. We'd like to encourage participation today, so please feel free to type in questions at any time. I want to give you a brief introduction to our presenter today. Janie Dam has taught middle school and high school math for 16 years. She has served as testing and data coordinator for Granada Hills Charter High School in the San Fernando Valley area since 2007. Prior to becoming an educator in Southern California, Ms. Dam practiced law in Chicago, where she spent many hours doing pro bono work in support of incarcerated youths to attain literacy. She is currently working on her Doctor of Education dissertation at Alliant International University. Thank you so much for being here, Janie. I'll let you start the presentation.
Great. Thank you, Natasha. Hi, everybody. My name is Janie Dam. I'm a proud School on Wheels tutor here in the San Fernando Valley area. And today I will be presenting to you some information on how we as tutors can help our students with career exploration and preparation. There are many, many good resources out there that I hope you will pass on to your students and their family. Okay, so let's play. But before we get started on this, I just want to let you know that this webinar will contain many, many videos that you can watch. Unfortunately, we are very busy here at the school and also where Natasha is. So the feed, both for audio and visual, are pretty high traffic right now. So just to let you know ahead of time, your visual and audio may not sync. So since it is lunchtime, you might as well just kick back, relax. When I show some of the videos, if they are not syncing well for you, so the person talking is going a little, his lips or her lips are moving a little faster than the sound coming to you because of the feed, is being slowed down by traffic, then go ahead and just close your eyes, kick back, relax, and just listen to what the narrators have to say. Okay, and then we will be posting this PowerPoint for everybody to view later, and so at your own time you can watch each of these videos on your own computer. Then you'll see the visual and audio syncing up nicely at that point. Okay, all right, so let's play. First thing I wanted to show you is a way to engage your student. As you know, that's the most important step in helping our children to learn, is to first engage them. This, if you are a teacher, you may already be familiar with this. If not, then I want to introduce you to getkahoot.com. It's a free website where you can create games or quizzes and surveys. I prefer to call it a game. That's what will perk my students' interest. I call it a game. It's really a quiz or a survey to get them started on a topic. If you are the teacher or the tutor, you would go to the first website here, getkahoot.com, to create a quiz or a survey. And for the students to play the game with you after you've created it, they would need to go to kahoot.it. Don't forget the dot. It needs to be kahoot.it. Okay? So let's just play again right now to see what it's like. If you have a smartphone with you or any kind of handheld device that can hook you up to the internet, you can play along. All right? So I'm going to go here but I'd like you to get a first-hand experience as a student playing the game to go to kahoot.it. So on your cell phone, you can just go search for this website and get there. And I'm going to create a pin for you, and all you need to do is type in that pin number when you're at kahoot.it, and you can play along. Okay? Let's take a look. All right, here we go. And by the way, afterwards I will show you a video that will give you step-by-step on how to create a quiz or survey, how to create your own account, and so on. Okay? So I've created mine, and I've saved it, my username and password, so when I open up the site, I can just go straight to my Kahoot. And I've created this one for my doctoral class that happens to involve what we're talking about. Okay, so here we are. There are two ways you can do team or classic. Team is if you have students working as a group or as a pair playing the game. Classic is one-to-one. So I'm going to do classic right now. Okay, and I'm going to start. And here is our game pin. 141896. So I'm going to go ahead and type it in. And Natasha, if you want to join along, you can type it in. Okay, so once you type it in, you're going to be asked to put in a nickname. And the site is actually pretty good at monitoring student behavior. If you have a name that's on the no-no list, you're going to be kicked out. Okay. So I see on my screen here, as you would see as a teacher, I see hey there, I see Natasha, I see JC. I'll give it a few more minutes and I can get started. So far we've got 3 players, 4. And by the way, when you're doing this on your computer, you can show it to your students. They can see it on their device, they can see it on your screen, and it's kind of a competitive way because every player's scores can be displayed and ranked. So get the kids interested through competition. Okay, anybody else? Okay, we got 4 players. That's enough. I'll get started. All right, so there are 5 questions. Usually I don't go beyond 5 because you lose kids after that. And I give them 20 seconds, sometimes even 10 seconds to get them really engaged, okay? So first question, roughly how many children are homeless in California? Okay, so go to your cell phone and click on the right color. If you think it's 2.5 million, click on red or blue or brown, orange, and green. Okay, so the correct answer is about 500,000. All right, next question. So far, Rob, you got 746 points. You got the correct answer, and you got it quickly. Here we go, next one. How many homeless children have been counted in Los Angeles? Not how many there are, how many have been counted? All right, 2.5 million, 500,000, 87,952, 34,899. Which one? The answer is nearly 88,000 that's been accounted for. All right. Rob, you rock. Here we go. Number 3. When did the McKinney-Vento Homeless Assistance Act become law? Was it 1982? Was it 2000? Was it 2014? Or was it earlier this year in 2016? All right, I'm talking about the latest iteration that protects homeless children. All right, the answer is 2014. It's the latest version that is currently in effect. Very good. All right, here we go. Question number 4. Which of the following falls within the federal education definition of homelessness? Okay, federal education definition of homelessness. This provides for broader protection of the homeless. It's aimed to help at school-age children. Okay. Lives doubled up in another family, lives in an abandoned building, abandoned in a hospital, or all of the above. The answer is all of the above. All of these would be considered circumstances of homelessness, creating a protective status for the child. Whoa, Rob, you're way ahead. This is actually me, and I'm slow. Last question, number 5. What is the average age of a homeless child in California? It's actually lower than this if you look at the students that are served by Schools on Wheels, but on average in the state, what is the age of a homeless child? The answer is 10 years old. I believe Natasha mentioned that 8 was the average age that she's familiar with. Maybe that's the School on Wheels student population. I know that's probably correct. Most of the children that I've seen in tutoring are around that age. My own little girl, she's a 2nd grader. She's 7 years old. Okay. All right, so the big winner, kudos to Rob with 5,279 points. He really knows about our kids. JC, pretty good. Natasha, pretty good. And this is me. Slow, slow, slow. All right, here we go. Okay, so as you can see, this is how the game works. And now I'm going to close. I can go back to my PowerPoint here. All right, so as you can see, this can be quite a fun, exciting game. Again, I would just limit it to just a few number of questions, and I would give them limited time to answer, just to make it fun and exciting. You don't have to create your own quiz or survey. In fact, for career month in October, you can do a search for words such as jobs or career, and you'll come up with lots of public Kahoots that have already been pre-made and shared by others. So actually, let me go back to that so you can see it on the screen. So right here, so you just go to public Kahoots as opposed to my Kahoots, which would be the ones that you created. You can type in, let's say, jobs, and do a search. Okay, so you see there are tons of them. Again, I would just, for especially the little kids, I would pick the really short ones. Like this one has only 5 questions. This is way too many. 75, that's way too many. 2 is probably too few. So I would go the 5, 6. These would be good ones. Of course, I would preview it before I show it to the students. And you can also, those that allow you to duplicate, you can the Kahoot and modify it to your own needs. Okay, so that's public Kahoots, and you can find it right on the same screen as your own Kahoot. Okay. So on to the next screen. When you're having a little bit more time to look at this PowerPoint again, you can click on this video here. It will tell you step-by-step how to create your own account, how to create a quiz, a survey, and discuss different uses for these Kahoots. Okay, so I'm just going to leave that for you to look at later on your own. And just a reminder, this is the teachers or the tutors website, and this is where students go to access the game. And if you're really ambitious, you can actually network with other tutors or teachers or counselors, parents, and create a kind of global group. You can do this, across the world with any tutor, any adult who can create an account online. You can actually have students from all over the world share into the Kahoot along with your students. So I'm going to show a short little video about that. So you can share your screen with anybody across the world, and every student with the same PIN number can log in. Okay, so it's kahoot.com at Global Classroom. All right, you go. So on to our topic today, career readiness, job exploration. The catchphrase of the day, college and career readiness, and they go together. It's no longer college preparation and career exploration. We are now talking about college and career readiness. That's the catchphrase now in the school system and at higher ed as well. Now, why is that? Well, research shows consistently over the past decade that there is a great and rising demand for a globally competitive, highly educated workforce. Our national economy actually depends on it. Combined with this is the rapidly rising college attendance costs. Okay, so you're talking about spending tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars just for 4 years of college, hoping that it will prepare you for a job that will exist, several years from now. Your students or your own children, like my own daughters, have to be very clear on what their goal is very early on, okay, so as to not waste all the money that's going to be spent on tuition and college attendance. You just need to be very clear on what your goal is and to make sure that the college that you are attending and the classes that you're taking, the program that you're participating in actually will lead to some sort of job. So it starts with exploring careers and job interests at a very young age and building up to the time where you're ready to attend a higher educational institution. So here are the statistics from the federal government. You see two pie charts here. The top one has to do with the percentage of employment opportunities by educational attainment back in 1973. And the bottom is what's projected for 2020, but based on my firsthand experience working with high school students, it's already happening now in 2016. We don't have to wait till 2020. As you can see, back in the 1970s, about 72% of the job market goes to those with a high school diploma or less. That means 28% of the workforce had a post-secondary education or were required to get a post-secondary education degree. That's 72-28. By 2020, but actually I think it's been happening for the last couple of years already, you're talking about down to 35% of those having a job having a high school diploma or less. So that's 65%. It's gone from 28% to 65%, requiring a degree higher than the high school diploma. Okay, and there's a breakdown. 11%, okay, out of the 65, 11% require a degree of master's or higher. So that's quite high demand for high education. And you're talking about industry credential taking up 18%. That is a college-bound workforce. I tell you that. I can tell you that. And you can go to this link right here that will lead you to the Forum Guide to College Career Data that was published back in May 2015, and you will see the details of these two pie charts. This is why we need to encourage students to go to college, to do well in high school and prepare for college, and prepare early and know what they have in mind in terms of career. So it is college and career readiness all at the same time. Okay, so here are some statistics for rising college attendance costs. So back in 2008, recession, the public college tuition has been increasing by 29% every year, even as high as 84% in some states. And I'm getting these statistics from Schickel earlier this year, and this was an article from the Journal of Law and Education. Okay, so a year later, school year afterwards, five institutions charged $50,000 or more for tuition. By 2014-15, 57. You're talking about more than 10 times the number of institutions charging more than $50,000 for tuition. That's a huge jump. And by the end of 2015, that was just last year, there was $1.82 billion worth of outstanding student loans owned by 40.8 million people. And that was twice the amount that was owed just 8 years ago, in 2007, of 28.3 million people. Okay? Huge jump. So we've got to be careful the kind of money that we spend for education. Got to make sure that it is linked to a career path, a future. So that's in the abstract. But we also need to kind of take a look at how all of this is personally, psychologically impacting our students, our next generation. How is it impacting them, their feelings, what their plans are in school, in daily life. So here's a touching video that I'm going to show you. Again, you know, it may not sync really well, so you might want to just ignore the delay in the visual and listen to what the narrator is saying.
I'm not grateful that you're taking an interest in my life, asking me questions of destiny as we sip coffee in the busy city, coffee that you've paid for with your credit card because you've actually got one. And I know the topic is an obvious one, as I'm sat there chewing on pencil ends, and pretty soon the rent money ends, and the present story runs out with my pen. But the answer is still, I don't know. It's not that I'm lazy, apathetic, selfish. It's just that with options more vast than the ocean and the glistening career conveyor belt constantly in motion, churning past my eyes, writing 5-year plans across the skies, I'm getting lost in the whir and the blur of possibility. It's not empowering to be totally free to be whoever you want to be. Actually, it's paralyzing. It's not that easy to put words to the feeling of knowing you have potential but still standing reeling over the fact that jobs don't come with guarantees. And surely you can't compromise when you've just spent 30 grand on a degree. And is there anything honourable about working in a cafe and just meeting people when you can write essays and analyse data that should mean you get on a career ladder much greater than serving in the local or temping in the nearest call centre that probably won't exist in 6 months' time when newer technology takes over? So what then? We don't want to disappoint you with your credit cards and stability, but it's frustrating when we've grown up with such a sense of destiny, whilst in the same breath being constantly checked by our harsh economic reality. I'm sorry that the answers don't come easy, both for your anxious looks and for me. So I'll sit here sipping coffee that you paid for with your security, and I'll chew on pencil ends making scribbles of my destiny. And I'll push on all the doors, and I'll try not to be fussy. But if I'm not pushing into my sense of calling, I'm going to have to wrestle to the ground my own authenticity. And I'm trying to embrace the hope that it's okay not to know right away, whilst hoping too that breakthrough is on the way. Maybe it's just around the corner. One day in the future that I'm still struggling to carve into a picture, I'll sit opposite you again, and as the waiter takes our order, I'll be the one to say, have whatever you want. And maybe for a moment you'll be paralysed by the menu choice, and I'll smile and say, take your time. knowing that choices can be hard under pressure. But I want you to know that we've got all day, and I'll wait for you whatever. I want you to know that I'm on your side, and I empathise with the fact that it's hard to decide. I'll sit with you and hear your stories too, and I'll share my own meandering truth, sipping coffee. And when it comes to the end of the day, I'll pay. And it won't be because all the dreams came true, but because we walked the confusion through. And all the while, I never gave up on you. And you kept walking with me too, as we wrestled to the ground all the doubts and the fears, as we gave what we had and put in hard work to win. Was we believed in having a go or going for hope, and hoping that our lives make a difference as we navigate in obedience. And maybe my answers still run out with my pen, and I'll be asked again and again, what are you going to do with your life? But then, my answer's really always been the same, since I was never the author of my chapters anyway. So I'll buy the drinks, and I'll sit, and I'll say, I don't know, but it is written.
Okay, so I think this poetic presentation, the message that's being delivered is very relevant to our population of students that we serve. We're talking about helping children in economic crisis to finally break that cycle of poverty and coming out of it by becoming more financially independent and by becoming more self-sufficient. So as you saw in the statistics, it takes a lot of education, it takes higher education to get out of the crisis, the poverty, the homelessness that they're faced with right now. Okay, so I hope you got something out of that video, and to keep it in mind, and when you talk to your students that you tutor, especially the older ones who are in high school and who are learning to become young adults. Okay, so what is the approach? What's the solution? What can we do to help our students who are faced with all these challenges as young people? Well, I'm presenting here the 4 keys to college and career readiness that was presented, created by Dr. David Conley. He is now with the Center for Educational Policy and Research in Portland, Oregon. He also writes for EPIC, which is another educational organization well known for its advocacy for students. The 4 keys are laid out right here in front of you. So key number 1, if you're familiar with the Common Core standards, this is very aligned to the Common Core, especially here in California. They are the key cognitive strategies. So this is way beyond Bloom's taxonomy. Okay, you're talking about higher critical thinking. So you're formulating your problem with hypotheses and strategies. You identify and you collect when you do research. You interpret, which means to analyze and evaluate. Okay, we're way beyond rote memorization here. And then you learn to communicate through organization and constructs or constructions. And you got to do this with precision and accuracy. So you monitor and you confirm what you've learned or have found in research. Okay, so very Common Core type strategies. Content obviously is Common Core content. Content knowledge involves structure of knowledge, key terms, factual information, linking ideas, organization, concepts, technical knowledge as well. Technology is a big piece here. Challenge level, you got to keep them challenged. Expectations got to be high. You got to add value to what you learn, attribute to what you learn, and effort. So these 2 together are kind of like a framework that's very much like Common Core standards. Okay. Now, if you are in special education or you've worked with students with special needs, the 3rd key might ring a bell for you. Okay, these are key learning skills and techniques. So first of all, the student's got to take ownership of his or her own learning. Okay, not rely totally on the parents, and the teachers, other school staff. And then there are these techniques of time management, test taking skills, all of that. Okay, so I know in special education, the resource specialists help students with organizing, motivating, being self-aware, memorization, recall, all of that. Okay, but this actually, I think, would be useful to all students, not just those with special needs. And of course, our own students that we tutor do have special needs. Even if they don't have that IEP and they don't have learning skills, their life status, their life circumstances do create special needs. So I would advocate for key number 3 for them as well. Okay? And you can go here to this website to read more in detail of what Dr. Conley has to say about these keys. Now, today's webinar has to do with this 4th one. I'm going to focus on this for Career Month. This is the key transition knowledge and skills. Okay? So you're talking about raising their level of awareness for post-secondary education, higher education. And I put these yellow brackets because these are the keys. Okay, so today's webinar, I will kind of talk about little activities that you can play, conduct with your students to raise their aspirations, their norms and culture, which they may or may not have received from their own family. And then also, of course, talk about career readiness, requirements and readiness. Okay. Now, when we get to the college month with School on Wheels, then this is where, we're going to talk more about these other topics right here under key number 4. Okay. And of course, self-advocacy is important, I think, across the board. When you do all of it, you need to push for self-advocacy. Our students do not always have the support from home. Their own parents are struggling. Maybe they're living with other caregivers who are family members, but who are not able to help them, advocate for them all the time either. And maybe they're not even attending school to receive the advocacy from the public school system. Okay? Here we go. All right, so how to be more aware of careers. There are these 3 systems that I've selected because Cooter and Naviance are the most popular among school districts around here. Charter schools as well as traditional district schools have actually paid for these navigation systems, and they have loaded student information in them. But the problem is access. Students are not aware, parents are not aware, school counselors are too busy to walk every child through the system. So even though a lot of money and effort has been spent by the school to set these systems up, they are not quite being used or used properly. So that's when we come in as tutors. We can, as the one-on-one support for the student, walk them through the Cooter account and web pages, walk them through Naviance, for example, to make sure that they follow through with the deadlines, to help them with career exploration. Okay, and California Career Zone is a free website. Anybody in the public can just create an account and do pretty much similar to the same things that Cooter and Naviance can do. Okay, it's not quite as robust, but it's still something that you can use that's better than not doing anything at all, and it is completely free of charge, available 24/7. You just need to have internet access. Okay, so I'm going to go to these 2 first, and then this one, and on every page there again is a video that's a step-by-step how-to video that you can watch later on if you want to practice before you talk to your students. All right, here we go. So Cooter is the system that I would recommend for the younger students. Okay, Naviance is more focused on high school. Cooter addresses students of all ages, including kindergarten all the way up to high school through senior year. I'm going to play just a very short video here so you see what it looks like. But again, you can watch the rest of it later.
When it comes to making education and career plans, it can be pretty overwhelming, no matter what a person's age or the stage they're at in life. They've got many options to consider, decisions to make, and steps they need to take to reach their goals. And they may not even know where to begin or where they want to end up. Cooter understands that providing the tools and resources to aid in this process is no easy task. And that's why we've created a suite of scalable, custom-made online solutions that are tailored to your needs and those you serve. Cooter's suite of solutions is based on the vision of Dr. Frederick Cooter, one of the premier innovators in vocational guidance. Since the creation of paper assessments by Dr. Cooter in 1938, the Cooter suite has helped over 150 million people discover their career aspirations, make better connections between coursework and the world of work, and put a focused plan in place to achieve their goals. Cooter's online systems utilize cutting-edge creative technology.
Okay, so that was an executive from the Cooter company, and he'll talk about the different, if you keep going on the video, he'll talk about the different products available for different age groups if you're interested in that. And you can always go to this YouTube to watch that, okay? So what I would do is if your student has access to a Cooter account through the school system, just want to make sure that they know their username and password, and work with the parents to get them into the system and actually use the Galaxy product line and to play with the games in there that can help the student to navigate to a particular career path that perhaps they may be good for when they grow up. Okay, so once you've gone in there and have your student play with the activities that are in there, and they kind of have an idea on what they want to be when they grow up, then you can then at your next session or two, tutoring session or two, engage in these activities that I am suggesting. So this first one up here is kind of a cute one. It's for first 5 pre-K, although kindergarten, first grade, they'll probably enjoy it too. This is more for teaching English vocabulary words using music. But this particular YouTube video has to do with jobs, and you can use it to engage students in talking about the different kinds of jobs that they might want when they grow up. Okay, I'll show you a little bit of it for you.
This song is about jobs. When I say, who am I, you get the job. Ready? Who am I?
Okay. All right, so as you can see, this is a more kinesthetic and music-based lesson that you can use. But again, you can use it to just engage the students in becoming more aware of careers and jobs, what they want to be when they grow up. Okay, so let's say you have a student that's in elementary school. You can play career dress-up day with them. The next time that you visit them for tutoring, you can dress up as a particular career person. You can dress up as a doctor, lawyer, cowboy, bus driver, whatever it is that you think might interest your student. So yeah, if you don't have access to Cooter, then you can at least show this, or you just talk to the students, see what they're interested in. Like my own student is very artistic, so I'll probably come as a painter or a sculptor the next time I see her, and we'll talk about that. And you can have them dress up as well, of course, based on their interest. And it's really easy to make these costumes. You can use like butcher paper, construction paper. You can buy some fabric, felt, and cut it into like shapes of hats and things like that. I've gone to secondhand stores like Salvation Army to buy stuff and make it into like a career-based kind of costume and dress up that way. Students love it when I do that. And, you know, just have some fun with it. And just just the costume gives them that image of, you know, who they want to be when they're in a profession. And it just kind of reinforces the importance of getting ready for a job when you grow up. So here's a cute little video by the Bazillions that you can play, and you can show this to your student as well. So you can put rubber boots on, go buy firefighter hat from Toys R Us, wear a raincoat. Okay. Okay, so that's a sample of career dress-up day put to song. You can show that and, you know, talk about the different careers and jobs that are presented in this little video. Okay. The next one, next activity that I would suggest is a day in the life of. Okay, so if you're able to organize that field trip, I don't know which shelter you work at or location you work at. It just depends on the policy of that particular location and organization. And, you know, of course, School on Wheels has its own policies on organizing field trips. But if you're able to do it, it would be great. I think if you can take your student to a hospital if they're interested in becoming a doctor, for example, or a courtroom if they're interested in becoming a lawyer, for example. And so they can see the day-to-day activity of that particular career that they're interested in. I have this video here, very cute video. It's a little too long for me to play during this workshop, so you can watch it later on. But this is Kid President. And he was invited to the White House to visit President Obama because he wants to see what it's like in a day in the life of the American president. So I'm going to show a little bit of it, but you can watch the rest later. It's a very good video.
Try to sit behind a desk so you look a little more official. Okay, well, make sure you're not causing international. What grade? Third? Third grade? Yeah, this is a telegraph. So the telegraph, it used to be before there were phones, before there was the internet, before there was YouTube.
not really advice. It's how you doing. Awesome.
You think I'm doing awesome? Mm-hmm. That means a lot to me. I think you're doing awesome. So both of us, we've got a lot of responsibility for handling our business.
How can kids and grown-ups work together to change the world?
The most important thing we can all do is to treat each other with kindness and respect. All right, so kids, they can learn right away, in school, on the playground, to be nice to each other. And if you see a kid being picked on, you make sure you stand up for them, and you treat everybody fairly, no matter what they look like or where they're from. And if you start learning to do that as a kid, and everybody's respectful of each other and nice to each other, then when they grow up, they'll be doing the same thing, and we'll have a lot fewer problems. Don't you think?
Yeah.
This is Emancipation Proclamation.
Okay, so that's Kid President, looking at a day in the life of the U.S. President. Okay. All right, so this is for the older students, I'd say middle school and high school. You can show it for the advanced fifth graders too. They get into this as well. But this is more for the older students. Again, after you do the Cooter thing with them, help them navigate towards the right career path. And then you can find videos like these so that the student can become more motivated and aware and knowledgeable to pursue that career. Okay, so I picked these two in particular from the net show because the people in the videos actually bring up the same concepts that School on Wheels promotes, which is hard work and persistence are what counts. Okay, you can be talented, you can be naturally talented, you can be gifted, whatever, but it is more important, and you should be praised more for your hard work, your efforts. I think work ethics is very important. Growth mindset is very important, and these videos talk about that. Okay, so what would it take to become a business owner, for example? In this one on the left here, Molly Moon ice cream business shows she has a chain of ice cream shops in Oregon. I believe it's Portland, Oregon. And she talks about how hard it was for her to become a business owner, but why it is worthwhile. And this second video is about having a job in the tech and gaming industry and how hard that is. And what's interesting is both of them talk about the importance of math, learning math. I know a lot of students are very discouraged by math. They don't particularly like it. It's hard. But these two videos really bring it home that you need to learn your math. And everything you learn in school, you're going to be able to apply at your job, and you're going to be proud of yourself, and you're going to be successful. So very positive videos that you can watch. Okay. And again, if you can't do that field trip, then these videos are good substitutes because they can see, what the workplace looks like, and then the person is being interviewed about that career, and they're very articulate about how they came to be what they are in terms of being a professional. All right, so that was Cooter. Now we're on to Naviance, and I'm going to show this video again. I apologize if the visual and the audio don't sync up.
I've used Naviance in the college application process. I've used it to submit my transcripts, to look at the colleges I can apply to, and all sorts of other things relating to the application process.
This is an abundance of information at their fingertips. They have no idea what all they can use this course?
It's really helpful because it just brings all of the things that you do into one place. So you can have a multitude of colleges that you're applying to from all over the U.S. And it just brings it all together like one website, one place where you can put your teacher letters of recommendation, resumes, applications, and it just keeps up with your applications step by step and sending transcripts.
Okay, so basically, Naviance, what it does is it helps your students to create a job interest inventory. So they just answer questions on their likes and dislikes, and based on that, it will generate an inventory list of jobs that the students should look at, and then based off of that, it will suggest a number of colleges and universities for the students to apply for. And then once the student decides that they will apply to those institutions of higher learning, the system also helps to put all of their applications together and send it all out to all these schools in an efficient manner. Okay, and it saves time and it saves cost to do this. But hold your thoughts on Naviance. And there's also the Coalition for Access and Affordability. It's a nonprofit group that is working towards getting every child into college, giving every child access, and making college affordable for everyone. It's a new, very new effort, so we're all still kind of watching to see what they do next. But it is out there, and here are the two websites, the URLs to the two websites. This is to Naviance if you want to learn more about it, and to Coalition if you want to learn about that. Okay, but hold your thoughts because I know that we have College Month at school as well, and it'd be more appropriate to talk about these at that point. So this is what Naviance looks like. As you can see, it's very, very busy screen. This is where we come in as tutors. Again, teachers and counselors at some schools may not have the time to sit down with every single student to walk them through this. They have huge caseloads nowadays. So as volunteers, you know, we can do that one-on-one walkthrough. But again, the first step is to get access. So make sure you talk to the child's parents or main caregiver so that they can get the username, password from the school. You know, it's all secured. I don't think we can do this on our own or directly as tutors. It needs to be the legal parent or guardian of the student who can get the login. So once you have the username and password and permission to log in with the student, then you're in here. And the first thing you need to explain to them is, okay, we got to identify your cluster of careers, you know, your job interests. And once we have that inventory or that list, then it will link to the right colleges, so you don't waste a bunch of money going to the wrong school and for the wrong job. You know, you got to know what job you want and what school will get you there. Okay, and all of that is coming out of information you put into About Me. You got to tell the system what you like, what you don't like, what you can do well, what you cannot do well, and it'll go here and then here, and all of this will then go into my planner, which will help you to plan the college applications and send everything out in a timely manner. Okay, so just help the student get through these tabs and understand all the busyness that's on the screen once they log in. And you can go to these websites as well to learn more about it. Okay, so they're going to go, well, what do you mean career job interest inventory? What does that mean? Well, it's actually in the system called the Career Interest Profiler. And what does that mean? Well, you can just show them this video. Okay, and here's an example of a school-made video, step-by-step, how to use Naviance. You're free to go there as well if you want on your own time. I know we're down to just a few minutes, so this is career exploration in Career Zone, the free website. You don't need to go through a school district or have a paid, user account. This is all free. You can just go to careerzone.org right here, Here's a video that you can watch step by step how to do that. Okay, and I'm going to go very quickly here. So in conclusion, these are 3 navigation systems that you can use to establish career interests, and then, you know, the right colleges for those career interests. I have here a list of the most in-demand jobs for this year. Okay. And you can take a look at this, and you can show this both to the students and their parents. Okay, all these different jobs that are in most demand right now, because there's a greater demand than there is a supply. Okay, and then these are the hourly earnings, and you can click on here to find out more about those job requirements. And I can promise you, all of these jobs will require some sort of college or higher degree. Okay, and then professional development, again, for the whole family. We're trying to get the whole homeless family out of the hole. Trying to get out of the economic crisis so they can finally, you know, be more stable financially and have a nice home, have a safe place to live and to just enjoy life. Okay, so here's good advice: how to interview for a job, how to dress for a job, how to keep your job, how to, you know, do professional development. Here's the CEO from Virgin Air, and there are lots and lots of videos that they can watch and, you know, learn more about just the do's and don'ts of professional life. I think that would be helpful. And we're at 1 o'clock, so thank you very much for watching.
Great. Do you want to stay on just for a few questions, Janie?
I'm here for you.
Okay. So we just had a couple questions, and please go ahead and type in if you have another one. So one of the questions was what is usually covered by the counselors at school?
Yes, it varies quite a bit. Most schools, at least, you know, send some sort of email out and post on their website that Cooter or Naviance or some other system is available. Okay, and then if they are really into it, they might create a video like the one that I show you, kind of red-looking one that shows the students step by step. Unfortunately, a lot of counselors have huge caseloads. You're talking about, you know, maybe 500, 600 students per counselor. They're not going to have the time, even if they have the desire, they won't have the time to actually sit down. So the best that they can do is just tell the student, okay, here's your username, here's your password, go to this website and do this. And that's, you know, they don't really walk them through it. And when the student is first in the system, they will actually have to answer a lot of questions. It's a long list of questions. I mean, it's worse than Match.com, right? When you try to post your profile. I mean, it's comprehensive. So it's a matter of just, you know, being there for the student to help them through the process, because it is pretty extensive, and you need to have enough data information to really get an accurate read, you know, accurate profiler. So it's, yeah, getting them access, and then sitting down and have them do the questions, and then remind them, you know, to go in there and look at the suggestions, the job suggestions, and then later the colleges. So once they decide on the colleges, then the counselors get more involved, because the counselor's main job is to help with college admissions and maybe scholarships. So that's how it works.
Okay. And just a clarification again, Cooter and Naviance are both paid accounts or paid memberships? Correct?
Yes, they are paid. I, you know, was actually suggesting to some school administrators who don't have the budget to work with donorschoose.org to get funding for it. And I'm kind of pushing those two organizations, the two corporations, I should say, Cooter and Naviance, to provide free, you know, accounts for kids who have limited, you know, financial resources. So they haven't responded yet, but I'm pushing for it. And hopefully Coalition for Access and Affordability will make scholarships or other means available to acquire these accounts for kids.
That makes sense. There was just another question. Is it important to talk about how people change careers often, and if so, at what age?
Yes. I don't know. It just depends on the child. I mean, I've worked with, kids. I worked at a charter school that was pre-K all the way up to 9th grade before, and you've got some really precocious children. Kids who have gone through hardship with their parents, like the kids that we tutor, they are precocious. I mean, they are aware very young, that you need a job, you need money. So that's hard to say, but you can at any age you can talk about changing careers, and all of us, I think, have gone through many jobs, different jobs. It's just the way that our economy is. So adaptability, flexibility are two very important qualities to have, and actually employers look for that. So you can talk about, yes, dream big, dream towards a particular career at the end, but along the way you might have to take other jobs. As long as you build the same skill set that can apply to that final job that you really want, through other jobs, I think you're okay. And it's okay to change your mind. It's okay to change your mind. But I would say maybe by 7th or 8th grade, you kind of already, know what you want, because when you get to 9th grade, that's the time when you get to start over, because colleges don't look at your transcripts from 8th grade. They start in 9th grade. So that's when you really, have a fresh start to make those grades to get into the best colleges, and then later to the best jobs.
Great. And then one more here. How would you suggest handling unrealistic expectations of careers? Like the person gave an example that, their student wants to be a professional sports player, but they haven't done anything with sports and they're in high school already.
Yes. That's the beauty of Naviance and Cooter, because once you're in there, okay, you can drill down to that particular job. Even I think there's probably athletic jobs in there too. You go in there and it's very realistically telling you, how many jobs are available, how many people are successful in getting the job. I mean, the stats are all there. So you can point to statistics. I think if you just turn the kid down right away and break their dreams, they're going to be against you.
Right.
But if you can show the numbers objectively, they will listen to you, and they'll become more practical and pragmatic as you are. If you can show them the proof. So that's what I suggest. Just be realistic about, yes, it's great to have dreams, but look at the realities too, and show some numbers. And there might be other exciting jobs among the most demand, the ones in most demand that the kids have never thought about, but it might be just as exciting as becoming an athlete.
Right. It looks like all the questions we have now. Did you want to add anything else, Janie?
No, I think that's it. I would encourage you to spend some time going back. I know I didn't show all the videos and I was kind of rushing at the end. I just want to wish everybody a lot of fun and good luck with the students for Career Month.
Great. Sounds great. Yeah, thank you so much, Janie, for presenting this information. We will have it posted to the website soon so that you can watch those videos on your own time, and then also just all the links to the resources. I think that's great. So any questions, you can always reach out to me. My email is nbayes@schoolonwheels.org, and usually I'll send an email out with the resources. Thanks so much. Have a great day, everyone.
Thank you, Natasha. It was my pleasure. Bye, everybody.
Thanks.